Your friendly neighborhood rabbit hole activist here, back at it again. Let's talk about the Akashic Record. The Akashic Record is a concept that describes a vast, cosmic library or universal memory bank of some kind, and that it holds all the events, experiences, thoughts, emotions, and intentions of every living being, past, present, and future. They are believed to be a record of everything that has ever happened, is happening, and will happen. It's an expansive, non-physical storehouse of all universal information. This record is believed to be encoded in a mental plane, being a compendium of collective consciousness, like a metaphysical archive of some kind, containing everything that has ever happened, is happening, or will happen, like we've been saying. The Akashic Records are thought to not only store information, but also influence the unfolding events, kind of shaping the course of reality in a way. The basic idea. The Akashic Records are kind of what we just said, basically. That is the basic idea. They're compared to a cosmic or universal database where all information about every soul's journey is stored throughout all time and space and dimension. This database is said to contain every event, thought, feeling, and intention of all beings throughout time, including past lives, present experiences, and potential future timelines. Some believe that individuals can access the Akashic Records via methods like meditation, hypnosis, or through the guidance of some kind of trained practitioner of some kind. What kind of practitioner that might be, I'm not sure. Maybe it would be an advanced meditator or a hypnosis practitioner or just spiritually advanced person of some kind. I'm not really sure exactly what kind of practitioner that would be, but some kind of trained practitioner. Accessing the Akashic Records is thought to offer insight into one's soul's purpose, so the purpose of like your being, past life patterns, and potential future paths, allowing for self-discovery and spiritual growth, and also providing insight into the universe's collective knowledge and influence. While the theory suggests it is possible to access, the methods are primarily that of the realm of spiritual practice and meditation. A nice way of saying it's woo-woo stuff, right? But just because it's woo-woo stuff doesn't mean that it doesn't have some kind of validity, right? We've seen hints of this idea in some of the past videos that we've made, and you hear about scientists and artists kind of getting some kind of inspiration of some sort, or saying that the music or the work is flowing through them kind of, and almost not even taking credit for their own work in some cases, just saying that like they were struck by some kind of divine inspiration, or they woke up with the idea, or they woke up with the calculation, or they woke up with the lyrics or the idea for a book, or they sat down and started working and entered this flow state where kind of information, data, ideas, creativity, knowledge was just kind of flowing through them. And plenty of real household name scientists and artists, musicians, authors say this kind of stuff. So, the religion known as Theosophy and the spiritual movement of Anthroposophy, let's look those up real quick. Theosophy, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. It's a mystical philosophy and esoteric religious movement founded in 1875 by Helena Blavatsky and Henry Steele Olcott and William Quan Judge. It draws from various sources, including ancient wisdom traditions, Eastern religions like Hinduism and Buddhism, and European philosophies like Neoplatonism. Theosophy aims to provide a unified worldview that incorporates science, philosophy, and religion. Key beliefs: universal brotherhood. Theosophy emphasizes the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of promoting understanding and compassion. Reincarnation and karma. Theosophy teaches that the human soul undergoes a process of reincarnation guided by the law of karma, where action in one's life influences future lives. Spiritual evolution. Theosophy views human existence as a journey of spiritual growth and development towards self-realization. Mystical insight and intuition. Theosophy emphasizes the importance of direct experience and intuition, understanding the nature of reality and the divine. Esoteric wisdom. Theosophy explores esoteric knowledge, often presented in symbolic form, that can help individuals understand the deeper meanings of life and the universe. And ancient wisdom. Theosophy draws upon ancient wisdom traditions of various cultures, viewing them as a part of a larger unified body of knowledge. Okay, so this kind of sounds like kind of a hodgepodge, a mishmash of different Eastern and ancient traditions and religions and philosophies of like, this kind of sounds very new agey, spiritual. It kind of sounds like it's in line with that kind of worldview, right? Even though this was founded in 1875, this seems very woo-woo. All right, let's look up the other one real quick. Anthroposophy. Something like that. Forgive me for butchering these names. Let's look this up real quick. Okay, Anthroposophy is a spiritual philosophy developed by Rudolf Steiner that aims to understand human nature, development, and task. It views human beings as spiritual entities with a unique path of development and connection to the cosmos. Anthroposophy is not a religion, but rather a path of knowledge and self-understanding. And key concepts are spiritual science, which is Anthroposophy seeks to develop a spiritual scientific research alongside natural scientific research, drawing from idealistic traditions. Human development. It emphasizes the importance of understanding human nature, including the interplay between the physical, soul, and spirit. Well, I wonder what the difference between soul and spirit is there. Spiritual realms. Anthroposophy explores the existence of spiritual beings and realms beyond the physical world, including the spiritual hierarchies and the significance of Jesus Christ. Evolution and karma. It incorporates concepts of reincarnation, karma, and the evolution of human consciousness. Free will. Anthroposophy emphasizes the importance of individual freedom, both in thought and action, and encourages self-reflection and questioning of unconscious patterns. Holistic perspective. It considers the interconnectedness of all things, including the human being, the cosmos, and the spiritual world. So, again, this seems like a very new agey kind of spiritual, all-encompassing kind of like karma, treat others as you want to be treated, and this idea of like bringing all of these different philosophies, religions, and understandings into like one amorphous kind of belief of like, be a good person, right? So yeah, Theosophy and the spiritual movement of Anthroposophy think of the Akashic Records as a compendium of all universal events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent ever to have occurred in the past, occurring in the present, or that will occur in the future, regarding not just humans, but all entities and life forms throughout space and time and dimension. So kind of like what we've been saying this entire time, and also kind of hinting at something that we talked about in one of the past videos, where it's like, is this just like a mathematical database where I'm pulling out informations where like definite yeses, definite no's, yes, no answers, like this is the equation, plug it in and you're gonna get your answer? Or can this be a more subjective place where I'm pulling concepts like ideas, beliefs, plots for like a novel or something like that? Can this be a creativity kind of fueled place as well, where I'm pulling creativity as well as pulling knowledge? And in this kind of thought, it does. The Akashic Records are believed by Theosophists to be encoded in a non-physical plane known as the mental plane. Okay, we've talked about that already as well. The Akashic Records draw from the Sanskrit word Akasha, meaning sky, ether, or atmosphere. Interesting. So the word Akasha in Sanskrit kind of means like, you know, sky, ether, atmosphere, kind of means like this, like in the air, out there, right? In space. Akasha, the Sanskrit term, was brought into the language of theosophy by Helena Blavatsky, one of the founders, in the 1800s at some time, who defined it as a kind of life force. She also talked of indestructible tablets of astral light, which recorded both the past and future of human thought and action, but she did not use the term Akashic. The idea of an Akashic record was further spread by Alfred Percy Sinnett in the Book of Esoteric Buddhism in 1883, in which he cites Henry Steele Olcott's book, another one of the founders of Theosophy, A Buddhist Catechism, which was from 1881. Olcott wrote, "Buddha taught that two things are eternal, Akasa and Nirvana. Everything has come out of Akasa in obedience to a law of motion inherent in it and passes away. No thing ever comes out of nothing." That's interesting that this is relating to some kind of law of inherent motion, being that like everything, is in motion. Everything is vibrating at some sort of frequency. So that's something else that we talked about in some past videos. C.W. Ledbetter identified the Akashic Records by name as something a clairvoyant could read in Clairvoyance, 1899. In his 1913 book, Man, Whence, How, and Whither, Ledbetter claims to record the history of Atlantis and other civilizations, as well as the future society of Earth in the 28th century via the Akashic Record, I'm guessing. Rudolf Steiner, an Austrian theosophist and later founder of Anthroposophy, used the Akashic Records concept in a series of articles in his journal Lucifer Gnosis from 1904 to 1908, in which he wrote about Atlantis and Lemuria and topics related to their supposed history and civilization. Alice A. Bailey wrote in the book The Light of the Soul on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, Book 3, Union Achieved and Its Results in 1927, quote, "The Akashic Record is like an immense photographic film, registering all desires and earth experiences of our planet. Those who perceive it will see pictured thereon the life experiences of every human being since time began, the reactions to experience of the entire animal kingdom, the aggregation of the thought forms of a karmic nature based on desire of every human unit throughout time. Only a trained occultist can distinguish between actual experience and those astral pictures created by imagination and keen desire." So, pretty interesting quote there. The Akashic Record conspiracy, okay, so now we're getting into the conspiracy part of the rabbit hole, refers to the belief that the Akashic Records, the medical physical secret repository of all universal knowledge, is being withheld or manipulated by certain groups. So, here we go down the rabbit hole, right? The idea that there are humans out there that know that this Akashic Record exists, they know how to access it, interact with it, interface with it, and that they are using it for XYZ reasons, right? Some conspiracy theories link the Akashic Records to ancient civilizations and the New World Order. Some conspiracy theories argue that the Akashic Records are being manipulated or controlled by powerful individuals and or groups that are using this knowledge for nefarious purposes. And some theories suggest that the knowledge in the Akashic Record is being used to manipulate human consciousness, control the future, or that certain groups have access to this knowledge to control the world's events. So, yeah, there's, the powerful elite, the deep state, whoever, the big bads, the secret bads, the underlying bads, the true big bads, right, are out there kind of using this knowledge, the Akashic Record knowledge, and that they have access to it, and that they know its secrets and everything, and they're not sharing those secrets, and that they're using this knowledge to control the world, to manipulate events, to control the future, to control or suppress or read or manipulate individual human consciousness in some way, or just, the simple fact that they know it's a thing, that they're accessing it and they're not sharing it. Yeah, the darker side of the rabbit hole. And of course, the criticism, right? There is no evidence for the existence of Akashic records. The concept has seen little academic attention or scientific research. So yeah, this is obviously just for entertainment purposes only. And it's important to note that there is no scientific evidence to support the existence of Akashic records, and they are primarily a part of esoteric and spiritual belief systems, but it's fun to talk about.